What's going on, everybody on YouTube? Steve here, Rake and Profit. Welcome back to the channel. Today, you guys got a really awesome treat in store. We have Dan Metters and Eric Lambert. And today we're going to be talking about wholesale on Amazon. And we're going to be talking about product sourcing. We're going to be talking about their story from how they went from $600 about 5 years ago to now selling multiple of millions of dollars on Amazon. I believe it's over 11 million. You guys might have to correct me if I'm wrong. But this is going to be a really, really fun show, guys. Welcome to the show. What's going on, guys? How are you?
I'm glad to be here, man. It's always fun being on with you, Steve. You carry such a high energy, and you got such awesome fans. It's great to be on with you again, brother.
Yeah, no doubt.
Awesome,
Happy to be here. We're both currently snowed in Kentucky, and hopefully it's not as awkward. I like for us both, Dan and I, to be in the same room. That one less area of lag. But other than that, I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun, and so yeah, I'm ready to get going.
I'm pumped up, man. Keep going, man. Keep going.
Likes to be in the same room with me because I'm awesome.
That's exactly what I was going to say. And I was going to say I'm pumped up for two more reasons, right? One, we're talking wholesale, right? Who doesn't want to talk wholesale? Because that's money. And two, I'm so excited because Christmas is right around the corner, right?
It'll be here for you.
Hold on. Wait, did Christmas already pass?
Well, 2017.
I don't know, man. I'm single, self-employed. I'm not taking the tree down. Unless we hit 300 likes on this video, I'm not taking the tree down. So it'll be here in February. But anyways, guys, let's get into your story. Started in this making money online internet business of Amazon and wholesale. So Eric, why don't you start, man, and then we'll pass it over to Dan.
Okay. Yeah, sure. That's Dan and I, to go way back, we've known each other for quite some time, but we ended up working together as adults, and I think around 2010, 2011, something like that. And while we were there at the company, there was a gentleman that was, I think he was actually the CFO, if I recall, and he obviously made really good money for the company, and he just turns in his notice one day, and Dan and I, wanted to know what was going on. Do we walking away from a pretty good salary position, and particularly in our area of the country? And turns out he was doing FBA, selling on Amazon, and of course we didn't really understand it at all. It didn't make sense. We didn't grasp it, but he agreed to show us, and so he took us out, showed us the concept of what is now known as retail arbitrage. And Dan and I kind of looked at each other and it's like, you know what, let's do something with this. Let's try it on the side while we're still working, see if it works. And it turns out, spoiler alert, it does work. And we ran with that quite a bit. We did that on the weekends and after work for about 3 months. And then after beginning January 2012, we went full time. We both quit, and full time, just him and I doing RA. Did that a couple of years. I did really well with it, but we were on the road a lot. It took a lot of our time. It took a lot of effort. And so when in 2014, summer 2014, it's a little slow for RA, particularly the way that we did it. And so we decided to try wholesale. We had this theory that we wanted to see if it worked out. Like, maybe get the products shipped to us and do a more wholesale-based model, so we didn't have to go out, and drive all over the country, sourcing products. And also another spoiler alert, that worked out well too. And and we've been doing it, and that quarter 4 of 2014 was the last time I've been in a retail store to purchase for resale. And ever since January 2015, it's been 100% wholesale. And I think you're right. I believe last time I tallied it, our sales over those years is over $12 million now. So it's been pretty fun, pretty impressive, and we've been really excited now to now build on it. Now we've got, it's more than just Dan and I. We've got a great system in place, and it's exciting times I know for me, and I'm sure I speak for Dan as well.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. It's always crazy. You see somebody like yourselves with great results, but everybody has a story. Everybody has that kind of humble beginning. So for everybody who's listening right now, you might be brand new. You might have just stumbled upon my YouTube channel, or maybe you just figured out that people are actually making money online doing all these different things, whether it's retail arbitrage or wholesale or private label. Here's the thing, guys. get started with something, because 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, you never know where you can be. So it's just really awesome to hear your story. Dan, let me ask you right now, right? So you guys are primarily wholesale. You run a wholesale business selling on Amazon. What exactly is wholesale for the people who are listening right now and just aren't really sure exactly what it means to wholesale on Amazon FBA?
For sure. It's it's one of the oldest practices ever. I mean, it's buying a commercial quantity of product so you can sell it for a profit. So typically this is a B2B transaction or business to business transaction. So you have to have a business. But once you're able to do that, you set up a relationship with either a manufacturer or distributor, and you just buy the product from them in wholesale prices and sell them on Amazon for a profit.
And the definition of having a business is as simple as telling your state that, hey, I've started a business here. Here's just registering with your state. So it's not even complicated getting a business started, if you will.
So Eric, why wholesale, right? There's so many different things you guys could have done, right? Obviously you started with a couple different things and retail arbitrage and transition to wholesale, but why wholesale? What did you guys see about it, and what do you continue to see? Because you guys have been doing this for multiple years now, growing your business. Why stick with it? What's the opportunity? What's the deal with wholesale?
Yeah, and it's a great question. And the thing is we've tried a lot of different things. This is what worked for us, and specifically this model. I'm sure we'll go into it a little bit more in depth as we go along in terms of how we still get it called wholesale under the umbrella, but it's a lot different the way that we do it. So it's not even wholesale in the traditional model of trade shows and talking to distributors. And like I said, I'm sure we'll touch on it. But for us, we tried private label. Of course, we did retail arbitrage with great success. It just got to a point where it was too much time on the road. We wanted our time back. And then also we weren't able to even leverage all of our capital. There was only so many hours a day, so much time we could be on the road. So we built up enough capital over 2.5 years to where we weren't able to even to spend on our trip, the money. So then that money's not working for us. And so that's kind of like, we needed to continue to grow. We needed to be making our money work at all times, So that's like the wholesale was an experiment, and it worked out. And to your direct question, we did try private label. The reason private label for us is the risk is much different. It's more front loaded. It's more, there's a lot more advertising costs. Your quantities, either your quantities have to be larger or your price per unit has to be larger. Either one of those two. You have some delay in terms of shipping, across seas, because most of it, originates in China. And, at the time for us, we weren't capitalized enough and more importantly, experienced enough, because even doing that stuff doesn't mean it has to work, because you have to understand you're taking a product that literally no one has ever heard of outside of, whatever in your head, and having to make that relevant on the largest, most competitive marketplace, for e-commerce. And with wholesale, see, what we're able to do is that demand is already there. We're finding products that people are already buying consistently. So it's, it already has the demand. Of course, the margins are going to be lower than private label, but I don't have to spend, the types of money. I'm able to replenish that product month over month. I'll have to buy like a 30-day quantity, and then I just reorder that every month. So there's a lot of things, and it just resonated with us. To us, building relationships makes more sense. Dan is really personal and likes to, he says an introvert, and he is, but when he's one-on-one in a conversation, he's really good, and it's something that clicked for us. And there's many ways to make money, but this is what we've chose to do, and to toot our own horn, I feel like we're really good at it.
That's awesome. Super cool. So we do have about 80 people right now, and more people flying into this video right now. So I want to welcome everybody real quick before we move on and give everybody some love. We got Flippin' Grandma in the house. We got Leah Sawyer, Anthony Hammock. We got Justin Pac-Man, MC Coin. We got my girl Red Rocket Resells in the house. Zoe Byrne in the house. Lauren, Shayla, good to see you guys. I want to know really quick, what business model are you guys currently running? And if you're not even running your own business, you could just say, I'm just getting started. But let me know, are you thrifting? Are you private label? Are you wholesale? And let me know also, what are you guys trying to get into? Are you guys trying to get started with wholesale, private label? Definitely let us know a little bit about you guys. But this is really, really exciting. So Dan, let me ask you, what exactly is the process from wholesale to actually making your money on Amazon? Like, can you kind of share what the process is? Are you doing product research and then finding a supplier and then getting it shipped to you? Do you mind breaking that down a little bit to build some context?
Sure. It's almost as easy as what you said. Like the key for us is finding products that sell well, and mostly that we feel like have an issue that we can fix, right? That we can use to develop a relationship with the manufacturer. We develop that relationship with the manufacturer, just call them up, open an account, and place our order. And then we receive the product, or, hey, you can have that shipped to like a prep center or something like that, and it just goes straight to Amazon and it sells. And then the beauty of it, here's the beauty and the part that we truly, truly love about wholesale is when that product sells and it's selling out, guess what you do? You pick up the phone, you place another call, you get another reorder and send it into Amazon and rinse and repeat. That's the beauty. That for us, that was like Eric talked about it, why it clicked. And it really is the whole thing is that you just replenish profits. Like you find a good account, and it's front loaded in your research. But once you have that account, you're able to consistently reorder over and over, and just realize profits for a long period of time. So it's less about in retail arbitrage. It was great. Like we would go find something, but every time it sold, that meant we had to go find something else if we wanted to replace that income. So with wholesale, it just kind of sticks around a lot longer, and it's replenishable, and it's as easy as making phone calls.
Wow. So you can essentially work from home, because I know a lot of the people who are watching and myself and how I initially had gotten started is I was, always going out to thrift stores, garage sales, flea markets and different places and having to go out and physically source it and then bring it home and clean it and do all the different things. So you're saying with wholesale, you're just essentially making phone calls and sourcing it. Are you getting your items actually shipped to yourself, or are you shipping it directly from the wholesaler to the Amazon warehouses?
It's funny because we do have a lot shipped to ourselves to prep, but a lot of the products, like if they're large or something like that, we'll just go from the wholesaler direct. Or if they don't need prep, if they don't need prep, you can just go direct, and that's what we generally advise. I mean, it's easy to set up. It's not very difficult for them to do, and it avoids the shipping cost to you. And then you turning around and having to ship it at Amazon. It's just there's a lot of savings there, so definitely advisable to do it if you can.
Yeah, this business model is really straightforward. Like you said before, it's not that complicated. And, Eric, I feel like a lot of people, they're intimidated when they hear words like, private label or wholesale. I would say private label is probably going to be a lot more complicated because you're actually having to do like everything, the marketing, creating the product. Like there's just so many different steps to it. It's a great business model, lucrative, tons of people having success with it. But I think wholesale is a very, very simple, straightforward business model. Eric, from your experience, why do you feel like people get intimidated and are kind of overwhelmed when they hear wholesale? It's almost like it's like scary in a sense.
Well, you hear terms that you don't hear in a day-to-day operation. And it would have been the same for us when we started out. I mean, when you have net 30, FOB, you have all these, like, it's just like anything. It's the lingo can be disarming. So people can get overwhelmed and think, or they just talk themselves up like, oh, their minimum order is probably $5,000, or just people, come up with any way to talk themselves out of just trying it. And I promise you, it's not near as hard as you've got it up. And especially, these people are human people that, you ring them up and you talk to them, they're going to listen to you. It's not and I don't really want to beat a dead horse on private label. I'll leave it alone after this, but I did want to add, a couple of things that another large reason, although a very small chance of it ever happening, but a very large reason why I didn't want to make my like a large part of my business model private label is because I am the manufacturer on record. You are the manufacturer of that product. So if a consumer had any type of serious issue with that and you were to get sued, it is you and your business that would be liable. That's because and like I said, I know I'm not using this as a scare tactic. This is just a legitimate conversation that Dan and I had. It's like, if we're building this long-term sustainable, business, I don't want it to have this large susceptibility to where if it does happen, it's not only crippling, it's probably just completely, done for. So that kind of push to store wholesale. And then also, people like to say that private label is you get 100% of the buy box. And while that may be true, and likely it is true. But what they don't tell you is how many of the exact same model your competition has as well. Like you may be the only one selling, Steve's version of the product, but I have a version that I got the same spot in Alibaba that you got. Dan has a version that's the exact same that he got from Alibaba. There's nothing proprietary. Unless you're inventing something with a trademark or a patent, it's going to be easily replicable. So when you get up on the page one, I promise you, some of these other big time private label people are seeing this and realize, wow, his sales rank is down to 1,000. And they do a quick search on Alibaba, and guess what? There it is, the exact same thing. All I have to do is get a different package made, and now you're in competition with me. Not on your listing, granted, but And so, like I said, I don't want to harp on it, make it seem, because we definitely. I enjoy private label. Like it's fun, it's intriguing. It's just we didn't want to make it a cornerstone, of our business. That's why we put, focused on wholesale, and that's why it's worked so well for us.
Another thing about wholesale for us too is it's very repeatable. Like we're with private label, what you're looking at is you have to have somebody pretty talented. Like it has to be somebody that can pick out a product, somebody that can design a package. Like there's a lot of talent involved in that. What a major focus of our business is we like to simplify things to the point that a child can do it. And what that does for your business is it means that you don't necessarily have to be there every day. If you can outsource or automate these types of things, it means that gives you freedom to run your business or do what you're actually wanting to do. So
cool. Awesome. And I almost forgot to mention, guys, we got 104 people in the house. So welcome everybody. These guys also have a free 5-day workshop. They usually run it maybe once or twice a year, and it's actually going to be opening. It's live. Well, I believe some of the videos are live. Remember last year you were doing a whole bunch of different workshops and stuff. But anyways, it's a 5-day workshop that's through the internet. So you don't have to show up at a location or anything, but it's starting the 22nd. So if you guys want way more in-depth information, because there's only so much we can cover in this 1 hour, it's free. It's 100% free. Get it. It's the first link down below. Be sure to sign up because it's only going to be available for, I think, a couple more days. So sign up for that. And it's starting the 22nd, 22nd to the 26th. What are you guys covering in that free workshop?
I'll let Dan go over the basics, but what's in it. But yeah, you're right. It is Monday, and it starts off and then it closes Friday. So there is a lot of interaction. And if this, what I would invite you to do is make sure if this piques your interest at all, this webinar, go register. It's free. You have nothing to lose. And what's more important is, Dan and I get excited sometimes, and we glaze over or gloss over some things that are common knowledge to us, but may not be. And those videos are and stuff that we have in that workshop are going to be much more in depth and be able to be consumed a bit better. So if this surface talk that we're talking about intrigues you, this is going to be more meaty. It's going to dig down a little bit better, explain it a bit better than we can on the fly and over the course of just 1 hour. So I would invite anybody to do that. But I'll let Dan explain to you, kind of what the things that we cover over the course of that Monday through Friday 5-day period next week.
Sure. One thing I would want to say is I would say sign up today. Like, even though it starts on the 22nd, you can sign up right now with the link Steve's got posted. So go ahead, get in there. That way you don't forget about it, and you'll just get you'll get an alert whenever we launch those videos on the 22nd. So jump on in. But what's it going to be about? That's the question, right? And it's this workshop. We love doing this type of workshop because it lets people see the process. In this workshop, you're going to be able to learn how to scout products, source products, buy those products. Realistically, the whole thing, you will be able to run a wholesale business after you watch this workshop. Like, there's enough information that you can do wholesale after watching this workshop. And it's completely free. There's no, there's nothing else. There's no gimmicks or anything. Just jump in, learn the business. And why do we like to do it? Like, that's the thing is this business model has legitimately changed our lives. Like, it's made us, it made our lives a lot better. And beyond that, we've seen people start this business model and just have success. And I love seeing that.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of fun. I mean, that's why I do this YouTube channel. It's, it's awesome to make money, but for me, I just, the seeing people change their lives and helping others. And I meet subscribers all the time at the thrift stores and out hustling. And, He's just really cool. So thanks, guys, for putting on that workshop and allowing my viewers to be able to join. So again, guys, first link in the description. Be sure to sign up. But let's keep moving into some different questions and stuff. I had put out a poll about a week ago, and I got a bunch of different questions that people were wondering about wholesale. And this is one of the most popular questions that I got, guys, is how much does it take to start a wholesale business in general? What's a range, Eric, would you say, from your experience, a low end and, conservative high end?
Well, the first point I want to make is what I was talking about earlier about people think that wholesale means large minimum order quantities. That's by and large, the way we teach you to source and buy products, you're going to be finding and targeting companies where your minimum orders are going to be closer to $200 to $300. Now, with that said, I wouldn't advise necessarily starting minimum orders because a lot of these manufacturers have what we call volume discounts. So if it's a $200, you order $500 worth, you got to get an extra 10% off, or things of that nature. So it's our advisement that you have about $2,000, and I'll let Dan share his thoughts on that. But around $2,000, that way you can order from a couple of different companies, have a couple of different SKUs, and get a lot of experience and information at the same time. In theory, you could do it less than that with one order, maybe two orders, and continue to flip. But the amount of time it takes to get ramped up, you're just going to be a lot of inefficient time. So, with that kind of money, I think with around the $2,000, you're going to be able to place source, get you a couple of suppliers, and then get the experience from a multiple different set of SKUs, maybe even a couple of different lines, and then it's going to facilitate growth much easier, much faster that way. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, was he choppy for you, Steve?
Yeah, it was starting to cut up a little bit. I didn't know if it was my AirPods or not. So I don't know if you want to try to adjust something.
I mean, I can go back and cover it, but you may need to adjust, Eric. You were getting pretty choppy.
There's nothing I can do. I mean, it just means my internet is maybe I may be suffering from some issues with this snow and weather. May have a tree or a line down, so we're hoping not though.
Okay, but anyway, what he said, I agree with that. I think it's the exactly right range that I would suggest too. Is kind of a minimum of $2,000. But I think a good $2,000 to $3,000 is a great thing to get started because, like he said, it lets you get your sea legs by placing multiple orders and not kind of having to go all in on a product. Like I hate the idea of ever having to be all in on something. Right? I have all my money invested into one thing. So this kind of gives you that flexibility of being able to invest into multiple products and learn about the products. Like you're not so pressed to have to make a profit on it. You can just learn and see what happens and then do it again and do everything better, right?
Awesome. Yeah, it looks like Lee Graham says just signed up for the free workshop a few days ago. So Lee Graham was an early bird on the free workshop. Awesome. We got a question. Thanks for that. Thanks for that explanation, Dan. But we have a question from which one are we going to answer first? From Mike. How hard is it to find a wholesaler? And I'm going to give it to Dan because Eric, every time, I don't know if the internet, I know you mentioned before, so you might want to pop out and try to pop back in. That might fix it. Okay. Google's kind of funny. But Dan, how hard is it to find a wholesaler?
Realistically, I mean, that was one of our first major challenges whenever we got started. We did the traditional route. We Googled wholesaler, and then we went to a few trade shows, and that kind of stuff didn't work with us. Because when you're working with a more general wholesaler like that, there's nothing that makes a difference between Steve Rakin's account and our account other than how much we're spending. And it's I'm never going to be able to outspend people, and I understand that. My goal isn't to outspend people, so we started focusing not at the distributor level and started approaching brands directly. So in that regard, it's very easy to find a wholesaler because we look at brands. So any product you're looking at that has a branded product is a wholesaler that we would look at. So it's easy to find them.
There's a lot of people who have been sending me messages because I'm going to be in Las Vegas in March. I'm actually going to check out ASD, and I'm going to a private label workshop as well and some wholesale stuff. What are your thoughts on ASD? Because I know you mentioned trade shows. You're not a huge fan of them. Is it possible for a beginner? Would you recommend a beginner to go to ASD to try to find their first wholesale products? Again, you know, there's going to be different deals. I'm sure there's opportunities everywhere, but in general, would you advise that? Why or why not?
It's one of those things. I think it's, it didn't work for us. Like, and that's not, I think that was more of our personality. Like Eric said, even though it's easy for me to get on here and talk to a computer screen, and a one-on-one conversation, but it's very hard for me to initiate a conversation with a stranger. So I'm not the best at that. And we struggled with that with the going to shows. So whenever, the first show we went to, we just didn't do very good. And then we went to another one and it wasn't going very well. And we spent money pretty poorly, just trying to make something out of the show that wasn't there, or wasn't there for us at least. And it was really poorly spent money. But I think if it's in your personality, like if it's inside your personality, sure, ASD can be great. I mean, there's a reason so many people attend it and so many vendors go and stuff, because it is an amazing show. It's just, it didn't fit our personality set all that well.
Very cool. Question from Brian Campbell asking, there's a great question right here. Hey, if you guys have any questions about wholesale, ask away. I'm in the comments. I'm taking all your questions right now. So let's try to stump Dan. That's the goal. Let's try to stump Dan on a wholesale question right now. But Brian's asking, is it hard to figure out if a wholesaler is legit or is a scamming website? There's a lot of websites out there that are, maybe they're not what they advertise to be, right? And I'm sure you guys have more experience with that. What are your thoughts?
Sure. Now we tend to focus only with the brand directly. So like you can generally see a brand history, and if they have a history, I mean, we're usually comfortable making an order with them. And here's another thing that we do a lot is we set up a lot of accounts with credit card payment. And if you ever have a problem, you can always dispute charges with a credit card. So it makes it a lot safer. We've never really had any issues. I don't think we've ever had an issue, have we, Eric? He ended up billing, so.
No, I mean, not outside of, originally. Am I coming through better or no?
Oh, you sound beautiful right now, man. It's like an angel just came in.
Nice. Apparently from working at home today, I had way too many tabs and programs open. I didn't realize it wasn't my internet. It was actually my RAM wasn't holding up. But anyhow, no, that's part of the early onset mindset of wholesale. You think, I Google wholesale toys or wholesale blah blah blah, and then you find these random websites that's where you run into this scamming stuff. Like Dan says, ours is more manufacturer direct. I mean, they have legit websites, and even then, we're emailing them directly, and it's so it's not really a thing for us now. Like early on when we were learning wholesale, I could see how you could get lost, Google searching for wholesalers. But the way that we source products these days, it's not even an issue at all.
Wow, that's a huge distinction right there. Sorry to cut you off, but that's a huge distinction. You want to jump on that more, the importance of going directly to the brand?
Right. I mean, you got to think of it at the end of the day, like the brand, the people that we're trying to buy the products from, their name is on the package. Like it's, as far as getting legit, it's very hard to get more legit than that.
Right. Okay, cool. Here's a great question, man. You guys are freaking, man, smash that like button for yourself right now, because we got some great questions coming in. We got a question from Justin Pac-Man. This is an awesome question. Are you finding more companies going direct to Amazon and cutting out the middleman?
No, I mean, not at all, really. I know it's there's some brands certainly that do that, and that's awesome, like that they have that. But a lot of these brands, a lot of the brands that we target small to mid-sized manufacturers that, honestly, I would imagine in the majority of cases, they're pretty tapped. Like they're pretty tapped on what all they're doing. They're trying to get their brand up and running. They're trying to get their brand and maybe into more retail locations and stuff like that. That's what they're concerned with. They're not trying to sell their products on Amazon. And what they're looking for in a lot of is people who understand how to sell on Amazon. Like I know, like, when you start thinking about it from the perspective and, your audience members, they have a skill. Like if you know how to sell on a marketplace, if you know how to sell on Amazon or eBay, that's a real skill. And that's what people look for. I mean, brands are looking for people who understand how to sell their products in the marketplace and make them sell better.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. I'm going to try to bring you guys back to the beginning when you first started wholesale. I know we're all getting old, man. I'm 30 years old. I get tired at 9 o'clock now, but let's bring you guys back to the beginning. When you first started your wholesale business, we got a question from Red Rocket Resells asking, what kind of products specifically were you successful with as a beginner in wholesale? Either one of you guys want to take that one?
I mean, I remember the first one. It was one of the first ones was actually a blood test for us. It was funny because we called about the minimum order, and we were like, hey, you know, what's the minimum order? And it was something like $250, and it's like, all right, man, let's just go ahead and order it and see how this thing does. It looks pretty good. So we ordered it, and by the time we at one point we were placing $4,000 and $5,000 orders for that product. So and that product we sold it for about a year and a half or 2 years. So imagine that. That's cool. We carried it for a long time. I mean, that's a lot of mileage out of a single account, and a lot of units sold for sure. But that was definitely one of them, the number one for us. And then
wow, that's crazy.
I mean, we had a plan that a theory too is like, let's try to focus initially. Like, as it turns out, it's unnecessary theory, but it made sense. Like, I mean, because, and I'll go ahead and jump to the end of this and let you know that the reason it doesn't matter the way our mindset was is that when you target products that sell very well in any category, they are replenishable products. I mean, honestly, but we wanted to start in health and beauty because we had in our mind, we said, okay, we want products to target products that people order over and over again, because we thought the same customer ordering over and over again rather than just demand and it being just constant orders, so it doesn't. So that was the thing. That was our logic, and of course it worked out. But it would have worked out no matter what we've talked, because every category, when you target the sales ranking in the range that we do, they all sell well, and they all are de facto replenishable products. Even though the same person might not be buying the blood typing test that he was talking about, there's always people buying it. So that was we started there, but honestly,
nice.
Every category is beautiful.
Sweet. Awesome. I think we just got the best comment of the night right now, and it comes from Leah Ann Daddy saying, it could be Christmas all year if we sign up for the free workshop. Actually, these are very intelligent and inspirational people. So wow. Yes, we're talking wholesale. We got the Christmas tree up right now. The Christmas tree is not coming down. I'm just going to tell everybody, for anyone who's joining halfway. And if you guys want to check out their free 5-day workshop, it's actually going to be sent to you. What is it? Is it sent via email? And then you just send them links to the videos and stuff and the live hangouts and different things like that?
Yep, absolutely.
Cool. So first link below, be sure to get that. But Leah, that was definitely an awesome question right there.
Thank you for that.
Or comment. Anyways, we had another question that came in. I forgot who said it, but I wrote it down. Somebody was asking, when do you reorder? So let's just say, for example, you buy, I don't know, maybe AirPods, right? Obviously, you're probably not going to wholesale those, but I don't know, some type of electrical item or whatever. You've created a wholesale deal, right? With a brand, you've got it under order, and maybe you buy 500 and now you're running out. What is running out to you? Like, when do you reorder? What's the mindset?
Okay, so this one's we generally target a month's supply of a product. Like we try not to carry much more than that, because it's not very cash efficient, right? Like carrying a bunch of inventory that you don't expect to sell for 6 months, just not very efficient for your cash flow. So, and that's the other beauty of wholesale is I don't have to order a ton. Like, I can just order a month's worth and then place a reorder as I'm running out. So what we tend to try to do is we may run out of our first or second reorder, because we try to establish lead times for those companies, like how long it takes them to ship that product. Yep. And once we have that, once we understand that, it's pretty easy. It's just it's just literally a math calculation of, let's say I'm selling two units a day or 60 units a month, and they have a 10-day lead time like that. When all right, I break myself here.
Well, let me interrupt you.
All right, run me, Eric.
No, I'm not going to correct you, because I don't know where exactly what the number actual answer is, but I do know.
I can scratch it out.
You may have glazed over, that's something that us talking is easy to shortcut to, but it's not a guessing game. It's not a mindset at all. Like I said, it comes down to a simple math equation, and Amazon provides you all that data. It tells you there's reports 2 clicks away from this ASIN sold. You had the buy box percentage this amount of time. You sold this many units over that time. It's literally just multiplying that percentage by that time, and it tells you this is how many you would have sold if you were the only seller of the month. You make your orders from that. It's literally, like Dan says, it becomes the simplicity of it is what becomes the necessity to work ourselves out of the business, that so that we can empower employees that this kind of stuff or outsource it. And that's the point, is that making it paint by numbers, and it gives you all that information. And even their first order, I mean, the workshop will show you how we estimate our first order based on common tools that are available to everybody. And so it's not even a guess your first time, it's a very, very educated guess. And then from there you get actual data. Once you've sold through it, Amazon will tell you through a series of reports that exactly how many you sold, how many you could have sold, and everything. And it's brilliant in its simplicity, but it's very complex in terms of, like, it's great that you get that number that seems very complicated, but it's a very simple click here, click here, and put the numbers in, and boom, and it tells you. It's, and then, like Dan says, then it's just a matter of adding in your lead time. If this company gets your product to you normally in 5 days, you add that on 10 days, whatever it is. It's really simple and beautiful.
In my example, it was 10 days lead time, and we would reorder at 20 units.
Oh, there you are.
No.
Got it. Super cool. So can anybody, you guys, honestly, can anybody do wholesale, right? Because let's just be real. There's certain business models where you kind of have to be a certain type of person, right? Like, for example, Merch by Amazon, it's a program that allows you to, upload designs and sell shirts and stuff. You've kind of got to be creative. You've got to be an idea person, or you just got to be good at, like, being able to work with other people and hiring graphic designers and stuff. But, every business model, is different, right? Can anybody do wholesale, or is wholesale better off with a certain type of personality or a person from your guys' experience?
Well, I mean, go ahead.
No, I mean, I was sitting there thinking, really the only prerequisite is work. I mean, and follow through. Like, I mean, it's a system that has been proven time and again, year after year for us. It's not, I'll be the first to admit, it's not the most sexy model. It's not the most exciting. I mean, it's a game that you compound over time. It's a return over time, but it's it has the safety of being manufacturer direct and consistency.
Yeah.
Like cash flow predictions, all these things become very sustainable with wholesale, and so that's kind of how it is for me.
Cool. So I want to know right now, I want to ask the audience, who right now, raise your hand. No, who right now is enjoying this show right now, talking wholesale? I mean, we're sitting here, guys, we're just answering your questions. If you're just coming in, these guys, Eric and Dan, they have been running a wholesale business, selling on Amazon for, I think it's about 5 years now. Is that correct?
Yeah, a full 5 years. 2012 was a full year. 2017 was a full year. So 5 full years plus some change. Super with our cool. Part-time doing it. Yeah.
So only 5 years, which is somewhat of a relatively short time in terms of business. They've done over $11 million wholesale on Amazon, and we're answering all your questions. So if you guys are enjoying this right now, do us a big favor, guys. Hit the like button. Lets us know we're doing a good job. Ask a question because we want to help you out. And be sure to get their free 5-day workshop. First link down below. It's free. No gimmicks. Get it. It's starting the 22nd. You got to get in quick. But lots of awesome questions coming in. We got Kirby saying good stuff. Red Rocket Resells is saying me. Jake O'Man is saying they know their biz. That is right. We got people putting all different types of emojis in right now. People raising their hand emojis. That's pretty funny right there. No,
this is great though, because you're going to get answers, which is obviously the primary thing, but then you allow Dan to talk about himself, and there's nothing he likes better than to talk about himself. So it's a win-win for everybody. I get some questions from you guys.
Okay, cool. So I'm trying to pick out the best next question to ask. I think this is a good question. I know you guys mentioned it a little bit before, but let's pound the pavement with this one. Let's be real. Anybody who's selling on Amazon right now who's not private labeling or not wholesaling, right? So that means thrifters going to, thrift stores, garage sales, retail arbitrage folks, people just finding items randomly around and putting it on Amazon. What's everybody worried about right now? Like, what's the number one thing? Restrictions and being gated. What's the deal with wholesale? Are you restricted to certain categories that, like, all the same rules apply? Another thing people are scared of on Amazon is, what if you sell something because you're just finding it randomly and someone says it's a counterfeit? Like, so restrictions and counterfeits, is there any differences in the wholesale game versus like retail arb and thrifting and stuff? Either one of you guys, feel free to jump on that one.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. It definitely is a big difference for, with restrictions. Let's say first off, category restrictions. Like, how do you get approved for another category? You have wholesale invoices. Like, I mean, it's that simple. Like, that's what they're looking for. If you're, to get approved for a brand, a restricted brand, like, we actually love it when brands are restricted, because it means like you're not going to just be competing against random people. It means the brand knows who they're selling to, and they really they're able to kind of target who they're working with. So you're not going to see the prices dive on those items. So it's really good for us, because all it takes is a letter from the manufacturer, which we always get because they know every time. Amazon's not like a secret to them. So, as far as getting unrestricted, it's as easy as it gets with our model. And then in terms of counterfeit, like, that's the thing, is when you sell products on Amazon or on eBay or things like that, you deal with your fair share of unsavory customers. The people who are just trying to get those free returns and take advantage of that, and they don't care to slap a counterfeit claim, say the product was counterfeit or didn't match or whatever. And the more sales you do, the more of those complaints you're going to get. But all of our invoices are manufacturer direct. So when they say it's counterfeit, it legitimately can't be any more, it can't be any more real. Like, that's, it's directly from the person who made the product. Likewise, all of our manufacturers know we sell on Amazon. So they're, we've had them write letters on our behalf before, being like, these guys are exclusively purchased product from us. All our product is legitimate. And it's, imagine that. Imagine having the ability to get a manufacturer to come and bat for you in those types of claims. So it's, as far as does it happen? Yeah, it still happens when you're selling wholesale, because it's on the customer side, but it's very easily resolved because of who you're working with.
Awesome. Thank you. We have a question coming in from Orbital Search Group asking, can wholesale be done equally as well on eBay? So I know you guys do Amazon. Do you guys do eBay? And if so, or if not, is it possible to replicate this business model on eBay, and why or why not?
I mean, I think it's definitely.
I'll let him go. I'll go ahead, and then I'll let you, if you got anything to add to it. But because I'm going to encompass this question with the inevitable future questions, and that's basically all other third-party marketplaces. And the answer to that question is probably. But we don't feel like we're anywhere near our potential on the Amazon.com platform, and that's why we've never put any serious effort into .uk, Walmart.com, Jet, any of these other, eBay, any of these other third-party marketplaces. We've not put any significant time into them because .com is the biggest, and we're not anywhere near our capacity there. I mean, we're still growing year over year, so we just don't. We've never put a lot of good energy into it because we're doing so well with this and continue to grow. If we were stagnant at any point or begin to plateau, then you start looking for other revenue streams. But it's a question that you may have to ask somebody more experienced, because when we do list on eBay, but there's a third-party program that literally just ports it over on a few listings. Some listings are available to be sold, but it's not. We don't put a lot of effort into any other third-party marketplaces except .com.
I mean, I was going to say the same thing. I'm sure it's possible. We just have no idea how to do it.
Right.
We're good at what we do, and that's what we know. And so that's kind of, we stay in our lane and do really well there.
Fair enough. So we have a bunch of questions coming in, a ton of them. So I'm going crazy trying to write them all down. But to kind of recap, a lot of people in the comments think that buying wholesale products, you're going to wholesalers. And essentially, yeah, you're getting wholesale deals, but what you're really doing is you're going to these brand owners, right? So for example, Nike, you're going directly to Nike, even though Nike's, let's hold on. Let's touch on this first. What type of brands are you reaching out to first? Are you going after Nike? Are you going after Under Armour? Or are you going after like the smaller ones first?
I mean, we target small to mid-size, and then the logic is, here's the thing. We try to work with brands that we can actually help. We try to work with brands where if we change a listing, we make a title better, we make we add additional pictures or something like that. Like any of those changes that we make, we want those changes to be impactful for their company. Like, if that product does an extra $200,000 a year on Amazon for them, or that line does, that I would hope that would help their company. With a brand like Nike, I mean, you told them like, hey, I can fix your Amazon listing and probably get you an extra 200K. That who cares? Like, that's throwaway change to a company like that. So it's realizing. I think a lot of relationship building is realizing who you can actually help, and just trying to do your best to help them. And that's what we focus on.
Interesting. So what's it like when you find a brand that's a smaller mid-cap brand, and maybe you're looking through the listing. I'm assuming you're looking through the listing and you see that it's selling well, it's making some money. And maybe you see that the photography's off, or the title's off, or the bullet points are off. What's that first email like? What's it like? Are you sending them a message just like introducing yourself and essentially saying, hey, like, I've got some tips for you. Like, I think this could really help you. And then how do you transition that into like trying to make a deal?
For sure. Well, here's the thing, and here's the tip for any of you guys watching. If you want to send more effective emails to wholesalers, less is more. Like, we try to be as basic. Yeah, we try to be as basic as possible, and just ask, if we can set up a wholesale account, and we try to have a conversation if possible. And if it's not possible, our emails do the work for us. But you want them to go ahead and start working with you, rather than trying to decipher what you're trying to say. So be as clear as possible would be my advice.
Hey, Eric, a lot of people are asking to get into wholesale. Do I need like some type of wholesale license or some type of special like certificate or anything like that? Do you mind covering that?
Yeah, no, we touched on a little earlier about having a business, and that certificate is what acknowledges you as a business. And so, plain and simple, all you have to do is, I'm pretty sure it's irs.gov. You can definitely Google search FEIN, which is Federal Employer Identification Number, which you don't even need, honestly. Like, you can use your Social Security number. My advisement is, if you're thinking about this business, start from the ground, thinking big, thinking growth, and you don't want that on your name. And FEIN is free. It doesn't cost you anything. It's literally just filling out a little form, submitting it. They send you this thing and say, okay, here's your FEIN. And now you use that FEIN. You Google search. For us, it was Kentucky, but it's for a Kentucky retail license or a Kentucky resale certificate, sales and use tax certificate, whatever the actual verbiage is in your state. And all that is a certification from your state saying this business is, has been started and it exists here in this state. And that's all you need to set up an account. And then I think there are 2 states or 3 states that don't have it, Dan, but they have some sort of equivalency. Is that right?
Yeah, it's Oregon, New Hampshire, and there's another one. But yeah, they have some sort of equivalent for their business.
So that's what you're going to need. They're going to want a copy of your resale certificate, and you get that from your state. And that's as simple. Like I said, you don't even need a FEIN, but it'd be my strong advisement to start with your mind trained that I'm going to build a big money-making business, and that's what you're going to want to ultimately do. So it just saves you from having to retrofit, so to speak, going back and redo things that should have been probably done that way in the first place.
Cool. Thank you. Biggest mistakes. Let's talk about the biggest mistakes that beginners can avoid when they're getting into wholesale. Let's go back and forth. Maybe we'll start with Dan. You can name your biggest mistake that you see beginners making, and Eric, then maybe you could chime in and give your biggest mistake. So Dan, let's start with you.
The biggest mistake I think is they're targeting the wrong products. Like, product targeting is so difficult when you start. It's because you move over from this mindset of retail arbitrage style products, because that's where majority of us come from. And a lot of those products, the brands are just too big. Like, they just don't make sense for you. You're not going to be able to get them at prices that make sense. And so you have to retrain your mind to start looking for products and looking for opportunity with smaller brands. For example, if you walked into our warehouse and looked at the products we carry, you probably never heard of anything, but they're really good performers in their niches. Like, they're niche all-stars, but they're just not on Walmart shelves. So that's the I think that's a big shift whenever you get moving into wholesale.
Yeah, and I knew Dan's answer would be more technical. Mine's going to be a little bit more abstract and mindset focused. And for me, it's honestly, and it's easier, way easier said than done, but this is something I want to prepare you for. You're going to hear no more often than yes. And it's tough at first to dissociate no with equaling failure or taking it personal. It's difficult because you know, it's human reaction to feel dejected, to feel like you failed, so you really have to retrain yourself to understand that it may not even be about you. It can completely be about them. They just have no interest in the channel, or they already have contracts in place, or it could be any number of things. So don't beat yourself up too much, because you're going to hear no more often than not, and understand that it is a numbers game. It's not personal, and that's how you grow. It's these, because once you get that yes, then it's basically a yes every single month from that same person, and you're just adding more yeses on top of them as you go, and then those, that's how it compounds and grows. So like, it's really the mentality of refocusing what the word no means it does to you on a personal level when it comes to business.
I agree. I definitely agree. So it's 7:51 right now. We got about 9 minutes left of this show. And you know what? I got a surprise, because we got 122 people in the house right now. I think I'm going to give away 2 prizes, and they're both going to be, let's see, I think $50 cash twice. So $100 worth of prizes to 2 lucky winners. One person's going to be able to win for being in this live stream. And then the second person is going to be able to win after this video goes live. And then there's like the comments after the video is like done and over with. You guys are going to have a chance as well. So probably in about 5 more minutes, I'm going to share with you guys how you got a chance of winning $50. I'm talking $50 cash straight to your PayPal. Then you can take that and go on Amazon and buy like something super cool. So let's answer a couple more questions. What do you guys think? I mean, Eric, Dan, do people, from your experience, do people like free money? I don't know.
It seems like it's pretty popular where I'm from. I know that I could use. I mean, how do I enter again? I don't know, but I mean, that's great. It's fantastic. I think that, and it's brilliant too, doing it for live viewers and for replay, because we understand that it's not conducive to everybody's schedule to be here live. So well done. That's brilliant. Yeah,
Dan, from where you're from, do people take money, or is it just they just accept Bitcoin? I'm trying to figure that out.
I mean, they're probably not accepting it as much today.
Yeah,
Bitcoin, looks like it's on a downtrend slightly.
That is a good point. So, okay, cool. So we're going to give away some cash money soon, but we got a couple more questions. I'm going to go in here and let's just rapid fire these things out. Let's knock them out, because I want to answer everyone's question for being here live. Question from Resellers Rule. I'm going to let Dan take this one. What's the trick to getting the buy box 90% of the time?
I mean, it's the majority of it's going to be based around price. So you have to be price competitive. We tend to ignore merchants as much as possible. So being an FBA offer helps a lot, and not running out of stock will help you as well. So I think those are 3 good tips to give you more buy box control.
Eric, what profit margins do you expect from each unit, or in general, what type of profit margins are you guys looking for on your wholesale deals?
Well, I'm going to caveat that with it should be tailored to your business. I'm going to answer you as it's my business. I mean, ours generally fall around 30%, but depending on your capital, your time, your ability to process any kind of process that may be involved, that number should be reflective of what you need to make your numbers make sense for your business. And for us, it generally falls around that. But that's not a steadfast rule by any stretch of the imagination. That is just where we can, a good number for us to still find a good number of accounts and still be able to turn a great profit. So
awesome, cool. And I don't want to break your heart, Eric, man, but you're going robot again. We love you, man. But we want that angel voice back again. But don't worry about it, man. We're getting towards the end of the show, so just hang out with us. We'll have some fun. Question: long-term sustainability. What are your thoughts, Dan, on the long-term sustainability of the business model of wholesale? Is this business going to be around for another 5 years? Has it been around for 5 years in general? I'm kind of just asking rhetorical questions, but
no, I mean, honestly, this is one of the oldest business models known to man. I mean, this is brands sell to stores. Like that's, when's the last time you went shopping in the Coca-Cola store? You don't. You go to the retailer who sells Coca-Cola. So, of course, it's going to be around a really long time. But I think on Amazon, here's the value. is it is going to continue to get harder. Like everything, just like everything, it's going to continue to get harder with RA. It's going to continue to get harder with private label. It's going to continue to get harder with wholesale. And the people that are continue jumping on early, like early in the train, and being able to learn how to help brands and learn how to learn to talk to them in the right way, will have such a leg up on the others that it's kind of comical, honestly.
Cool. Question from Rick Knight. Great question. And I'll just direct this towards you, Dan, since the snow hasn't killed your internet quite yet. Do you guys spend any PPC, which is pay per click? It's essentially advertising on Amazon. Do you guys advertise through the PPC program on Amazon with your wholesale products, or no?
Sure. I mean, if that's something that we think will really help their brand, by all means. But here's the thing with wholesale, and something you should try to do is you should try to share that ad spend, or even get your get the brand to cover it, because a lot of these brands have existing they have existing advertising budgets. If you explain to them like how this advertising budget brings them more customers, more often than not, they're just happy to spend it for you.
Easiest way to find a profitable wholesale product and like a brand that you want to go after. What's a strategy that you guys use to be able to find brand owners and products that you want to, put a deal together?
Three quick rules we use is: number one, Amazon doesn't sell the product. Number two, the product sells more than 60 times a month. And then number three, it is not a private label product. We like it to ideally have about 3 or more sellers already.
Okay, cool. Yeah. How do you find this criteria though? Are you using softwares and then you're kind of narrowing it down, and or do you have someone who's on your team who's like just going and looking? Like, how do people find these? Like, that's a great criteria, but how do people actually find these deals?
Sure. We just peruse through Amazon. I mean, it's looking, it can be as simple as looking at products that you're interested in and just going from there. And that's, it's no real science to it. For us, it's just diving in, and we created a system around it. I mean, we created a system called leaf sourcing around it. And it's just about how we go through and look at systematically at products. But as far as how do you start leaf sourcing? It's very easy. I mean, you just come up with any keyword you want in the world.
And that's in the free workshop again that you guys have going on. So for the folks who are watching, be sure to get it. First link down below, free workshop. But guys, we're at the end of the show, and you want to know what that means? That means we are giving away some money. I know you guys like money. I'm sorry I don't have any Bitcoin to give away, but I'm going to give you guys some pure cash right now. So this is how the contest is going to work right now. For the people who are watching live, like if you're watching live and you see the comments going crazy, that means you're watching live. We're going to give you guys a shot to win $50 cash. I'm going to just direct PayPal it to you. And for the people who are watching after this show airs, I'm going to give you guys all a chance to win as well. And I'm going to keep this contest open for the second half for about probably 5 or 6 days. And then I'm going to comment on the winner. So everyone's going to have a chance at winning right now. So this is how you guys enter. I want you guys, first and foremost, to like the video. If you want to win the cash, you got to go and like the video. You got to show some love. Number two, you got to go in the description right below, first link, and get the free workshop. It starts the 22nd. Be sure to sign up. Get in there. It's 100% free, and you get a ton of information free about wholesale, and you can figure out if this business model is right for you. And third off, what you need to do, right? This is simple stuff, straight cash to you. What's one thing that you learned during this show right now about wholesale? And just share it. I learned this. I learned that. And that's not only going to, help other people, but that's going to get you into this contest. So that's it, guys. 3 things. Like the video, like the video, get the free workshop, first link down below, and type in the comments right now, what did you learn from this show? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to pick a random winner right now for the live show. And I'm going to wait about 30 seconds to let everybody type in their comments. I'm going to read some comments. And then again, probably about 6 days after this, you're going to have another chance to win. So you can enter in both right now if you want. You can be a crazy person, enter in both. And just let us know, what did you learn? Like the video and get the workshop. So I'm seeing some comments coming in saying, I learned that you don't have to go through any middleman with wholesale. And that's correct. These guys are going directly to the manufacturer, directly to the brand. You don't have to go to any sketchy, weird, funky, websites to get wholesale. Tiffany says, I learned that a good ROI, which stands for return on investment, is 30%. That's a great one right there, Tiffany. M. Choate saying, just getting started. Mistakes are learning opportunities. That's correct. Crystal says, I learned that if you stay until the end, I get $50. Red Rocket says, I learned that you can get started for $2,000. So these are all great questions. So I'm going to go in right now and I am going to scroll. And Eric, I want Mr. Robot to come back on right now. And I want you to tell me when to stop, because I'm just going to be scrolling. And you can just tell me when to stop, man. That's going to be the winner. Okay. That they didn't answer the question, so I have to go to the next person down. Here we go. Eric Parrish says, learned the big difference between wholesale and private label. So there you go. Eric Parrish, be sure to hit me up at rakeandprofit@gmail.com, rakeandprofit@gmail.com, and I'm going to send you $50 cash. So for everybody else watching right now, after this video is complete, you could go in and again, you could like the video, get the free workshop, and leave that comment. What did you learn? And I'm going to pick somebody in 6 days. So congratulations, Eric, Dan, Eric, and Eric who won. Thank you so much for coming on, guys. Your story of going from $600 to over 11 million was inspiring. You guys dropped a lot of gold nuggets. Let us know in the comments, guys. Did you enjoy this video? If you enjoyed this video, type 1. If you really, really liked it, type 2. Or just type 50 if you want to win $50. But anything you guys have to say, man, appreciate you guys coming on. Any final words?
No, man, it's always a pleasure. And you know, your crowd is such an awesome set of people. Always come up with great questions and everything, man. It's always just a pleasure to be on here with you.
Absolutely. It's been a blast. Sorry, my internet didn't cooperate. Hopefully it's a little better now. And the workshop, it's free. It's a lot of great information. It's not just about wholesale. You'll learn a lot about just the Amazon platform. Like, just dive in, check this stuff out. It's really cool.
Well, you probably didn't understand Robot Man there, but what he said, you can jump in right now. You can jump into the workshop right now. It's going to be free, and you're going to learn a ton. You'll learn if this business is for you or not, I promise.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, be safe. I know you guys are getting hit by a big snowstorm, and I'm about to be getting hit tomorrow in Connecticut. So everyone else watching, be safe out there on the roads if you're on the East Coast. But appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. Very grateful for you guys. Thank you, Eric, Dan, everyone watching, and have yourselves a great night. Appreciate it.
Hey, brother. Thanks for having us.
All right. Thanks, guys.